Hey everyone, if you're here, you're probably already thinking about that awesome time when you can kick back and relax, retirement. And good for you for being proactive. Seems like you've maybe stumbled upon annuities as an option, and specifically this American National Palladium Multi-Year Guarantee Annuity.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And we're going to deep dive into some material from Diversified Insurance Brokers on that today.
All right.
See if we can unpack it a bit and, figure out if it's a good fit.
Definitely.
But just remember, this is just our take.
Yeah.
Always best to do your research and maybe talk with a financial advisor before jumping into any big decisions, right?
Absolutely. Always good to get that extra layer of, comfort and knowledge.
Exactly.
Make those confident choices for the future.
For sure. So this Palladium MYG annuity, it talks about something called guaranteed interest rates, which sounds pretty appealing, right? You get to lock in a rate for a certain time,
Yeah.
like between 3 and 10 years, depending on what you're thinking.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that kind of feature?
Well, the idea of guaranteed returns, it's
Yeah.
a pretty big deal, especially these days when the markets are all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like investing in, say, stocks
Right.
where things go up and down.
Yeah.
With an annuity like this, you're getting predictability.
Makes sense.
And for some people planning for retirement, that can feel like a huge weight off their shoulders.
Oh, for sure. That peace of mind.
Exactly.
Yeah. So looking at this a bit closer, it looks like it could be a good option for a lot of different investors. The minimum to get started is $5,000.
Okay.
But they have this interesting thing where if you put in $100,000 or more,
Oh, wow.
you can get an even better interest rate.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a pretty common strategy to encourage those larger investments.
It's like a bonus.
Right. It's definitely something to think about when you're comparing different options.
For sure. Okay, so let's switch gears a bit and talk about taxes.
Okay.
Because with this annuity, your earnings aren't taxed until you withdraw them.
Right. Tax-deferred growth.
Exactly. So how big of a plus is that when we're talking about planning for retirement?
It can be a pretty significant advantage,
Really?
especially if you think you'll be in a lower tax bracket later on.
Okay.
It means your money can grow faster over time.
Because it's compounding more.
Exactly. But it's important to remember that if your tax bracket stays the same, or even goes up in retirement,
What?
the benefit might not be as big.
That's true.
It's also worth comparing this to a Roth IRA, where you pay taxes up front, but then your withdrawals in retirement are completely tax-free.
Oh, that's a good point. The tax situation is definitely something to consider carefully.
Yeah, it can make a big difference.
Totally. And speaking of getting to your money, this annuity lets you withdraw up to 10% of your account value each year without any penalties.
Right.
That seems pretty flexible, don't you think?
It is. Having that cushion for unexpected expenses or even just managing your cash flow is really valuable in retirement.
Right.
But there's a little caveat. If you need to withdraw more than 10% in a year, you might run into something called a market value adjustment.
Okay, market value adjustment. What does that even mean?
Basically, it adjusts how much you can withdraw based on how interest rates have changed since you first invested.
So it's like it fluctuates.
Exactly. If rates have gone up since you invested,
Okay.
you might actually end up with a little bonus when you withdraw.
Oh, interesting.
But if rates have gone down, you could get a little less than you were expecting.
So it's kind of a gamble depending on what interest rates are doing.
Exactly. It's tied to the interest rate environment at the time.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's say it's way down the line, you're nearing retirement, and it's time to decide what to do with this annuity.
Yeah.
You've reached the end of your guarantee period.
Okay.
You have a choice. You can either withdraw your money, no penalties,
Right.
within like a 30-day window,
Right.
or you can keep it going for another term, but maybe with a different interest rate.
That's a big decision.
It is. What are the key things people should be thinking about at that point?
Well, you really need to have a good understanding of your retirement goals.
Makes sense.
Think about your income needs, your expenses, and just your overall financial situation at that time.
Yeah, it's like a whole new chapter.
Exactly.
And of course, we can't forget about the death benefit.
Oh, right.
With this annuity, if something happens to you, your beneficiaries will receive either the full value of the annuity
Okay.
or what's called the surrender value,
Right.
whichever is higher.
That's great.
And that's included without any extra cost, which is pretty awesome.
It is. It's definitely an added layer of security.
Yeah, it's like, knowing your loved ones are taken care of.
Absolutely.
It's a good feeling. So this annuity is issued by American National Insurance Company, right? They're based in Texas and seem to have a good reputation
Yeah, they do.
for financial strength and customer service.
And, when you're thinking about annuities, that's super important.
Why is that?
Because the company's stability.
Right.
It directly impacts whether they can actually deliver on those guarantees.
Oh, that makes sense.
Always a good idea to research the company before you commit.
Absolutely.
Right.
Always good to do your homework.
Exactly.
And remember, this is just a starting point.
Uh-huh.
Take this info, dig deeper, and maybe even get some personalized advice from a financial expert.
And don't forget, while this annuity has some appealing features, it's just one piece of the retirement puzzle.
Right.
You've got to think about how it fits with everything else.
Oh, for sure. Like, what else?
Well, have you considered things like fixed index annuities?
Those are a bit different, right?
Yeah, they work a bit differently.
Okay.
Or even real estate investments.
Oh, wow.
It all depends on your risk tolerance, the kind of income you want in retirement,
Yeah, it's personal.
and your overall financial goals.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
You've given us a lot to consider.
Of course. It's all about making those informed decisions.
Right. And you know what? Informed decisions lead to a much more confident financial future.
Exactly.
So happy researching, everyone.
Happy researching.
And best of luck planning for that awesome retirement.